Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-52439. You know. 205-964-52439. You know.
Boom, we're live. Sorry.
I was like, uh-oh.
Okay.
How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Just making sure this mic is on here.
I don't think so. It's not lighting up.
It ain't lighting up. One more time. Come on. Fire up. I don't know why. No move. Is it plugged?
Is yours Autumn?
Did you got it set? Okay. All right, so sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so we're talking about real estate investing. Today's topic is how much earnest money should a cash buyer give you? Well, not per se you, but the deal. So we're going to answer that question and a lot more. Today's Kelly Wednesdays, real estate agent, investor / real estate agent, here to share her valuable knowledge about the game. And so if you want to get your questions answered live, you want to get pushed to the front of the line, you got it now. Text the word Gator to the number 205-964-5243. Make sure that you do this. Subscribe to the channel by selecting this button here. Once you subscribe to the channel, tap the little bell, select all, so you now are alerted whenever we upload new videos like this one and when we go live daily.
Look at you. What's going on? Okay.
Oh, hey, take that guy's laptop from him, man. Anyway, yeah, so text the word Gator to the number if you want to join the live stream to get your questions answered by both of us, and we'll try to do our best. Uploaded a new video on Monday, or I think it was Monday. But yeah, check that video out on skip tracing, getting the seller's phone number. But this playlist of videos is a great foundation of videos, collection of videos to get you going in the right direction. So text VIP to the number if you're serious about this thing called real estate. So the paperwork, everybody always asking about it. You can access this by texting the word contract to the number 205-964-5243. This will get you tapped right in to the paperwork needed for sellers and buyers, how to fill it out, how to get free access to it, and how to get it signed virtually, aka electronically. If you want to, is this it? Skip. Yeah, if you want to see that video from the other day, just text the word skip. I think it ain't gonna kill you. And the times. Here are the times that we're on daily, Monday through Wednesday, around 4 p.m. ish Eastern. Check local listings, and then on Thursdays around 8:05 p.m. Eastern. So what's happening, Kelly?
Oh, nothing much out here. Living and learning and growing and loving every day.
Oh, yeah. I was giving these ladies their daily education on relationships and how to be able to stay with people. And they were all very attentive to my mass of the topic.
No advice, Kelly.
No,
The
hey,
last part I had to stay with people. Well, okay, try to tell. I do
we, you know what I'm saying? Just hey, I'm gonna have a keyword for that too. To text me if you want that type of advice. Also, we're gonna be offering that. A lot of experiences personally, but I more experiences from observing others. You know what I'm saying? So, huh? We'll come up with better than that. We'll do something better than that. But anyway, so I'm just tripping. But anyway, so what we got, ladies?
Oh, can I tell a story right while they doing that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I got scammed, but you don't know, but we got scammed for the first time.
On what?
It's probably a show you do about that. First, you remember I told you, oh, it's gonna be a big deal. This is gonna be a 6-figure deal. Like when I told you, I was like, it's gonna be like almost like it was gonna be a big deal, right?
And
In
what did I
Florida.
say?
I know. I don't know why I did that to myself. You never count your money before it's in the bank. You just don't. Man, we got scammed. As soon as the title company asked him for ID, this man tightened all the way up. He would not. Well, he sent over a fake ID.
Mm-mm.
Sent over a fake ID. It was obviously fake, obviously altered. I even looked it up on the DMV. Guys, you can absolutely look up people's driver's license. They'll just tell you whether it's valid or not. You can actually see it, but they'll just tell you if it's valid or not. And it was not valid. He wouldn't produce passport or any type of government issued. He wanted to give his work badge. I'm like, so yeah, we got scammed.
Mm.
Spent a whole lot of time. Had a buyer ready to buy. I mean, everything is ready to go.
Also, it's the
That's
seller side of it.
seller side, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So who actually owns it?
I do not know. I have called in port. It's a company. The owner is either out of state, out of country, or either anyway. It's the people who pay the taxes on it. The owner's name is on there, but the people who pay the taxes is a international bank located in the U.S. And obviously, I can't get any information because you have to have the owner's consent to get information. But basically, I mean, if I wanted to, it's a good niche though for people. I said, wow, people really could make that a niche for people that own foreigners that own property in the U.S. To see if they want to buy. I think though the only way to track this person down would probably be like to hire a private investigator. Because I mean, we got someone that absolutely will buy it, like was gonna close on it in a week. But anyway,
Okay. All right. Well, on to the next. And what you said that was near Orlando?
yeah, it was in Orlando, and the person that owns it is Portugal or Portuguese, and but I cannot find any information on them.
I got you.
So I called every name that was associated with that name in the U.S., and none of them were the owners. So hit a brick wall, and I just gave up.
Okay. All right. All right. On to the next. On to the next one. All right. So what we got? Oh, I gave you that. I said how the topic is how much earnest money should a cash buyer give you? Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
This is on Instagram. This person asked, "Is there a big risk being a guarantor on a joint venture deal? The only thing I'm putting up is my credit card." Question mark.
I could kind of hear that. So, is there a big risk getting a realtor involved on a JV deal? Is that what I heard?
Is there a big risk being a guarantor on a joint venture deal?
Guarantee. Oh, guarantor. Okay, the guarantor. I guess guarantor. So they're actually buying the property, is what I'm understanding.
I think so. I think that's what they meant.
I guess I'm just assuming usually they're buying the property and I guess maybe they are someone is going to put up either the credit or the capital or both, and the other person is going to maybe manage the rehab team. This is assumption. I mean, yeah, obviously it is a risk because it's all going to be using your personal credit, your personal money to fund the deal. So you want to make sure that if you do that, you're partnering up with someone that has experience in what you're doing, or want to do. Check background, did recommendations and referrals. Before you get into that, I would suggest you date that person a little bit, see what their other projects look like before you jump in. Don't go big or go home on the first deal. Just kind of ease your way into a couple of deals, maybe get into a deal where there's some other investors that are working in the same deal with that person. But you just want to make sure that that person is a credible source that you want to be doing business with, because obviously, yes, you could lose everything as far as all your money invested. And don't invest more than when you're really willing to lose either. So I would say, yes, there is a risk doing a JV. You want to make sure all the paperwork is right. You want to make sure that if you have a lawyer, you run it through your lawyer, make sure the paperwork is right, make sure that the partnership makes sense. But first, date that person a little bit to make sure that your goals align with each other.
All right. This is also on Instagram. Did you have something to follow that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. This is also on Instagram. How does wholesale and pre-foreclosures work?
So they work. I wouldn't say the same, but the process is different. I always tell people, if you're gonna wholesale foreclosed property, so let me look at it two ways. Pre-foreclosed properties before they go into foreclosure, you got to remember that this person is obviously going through a lot of financial distress. So you want to be empathetic of their situation, and you want to be a person to provide resources and solutions and value versus looking to just make money, because people can see through that, and people, especially when emotions are high, those deals can really go south really fast. And so I would say, yes, you can do it. There is an entire process where you would need to stop the foreclosure, meaning you would need to get in contact with the bank or the mortgagor of the loan to see what it is to catch them back up on their payments. You'll have to make sure that their payments are caught up, and that they don't, and that as you're negotiating the deal, that they don't risk going into auction. Now, a foreclosed property is different. So it's already been foreclosed. The bank now owns it. Now that process can be a little bit lengthier. There's an REO agent that you must go through to submit offers. They'll give you exactly the process you would need. You will need cash. You will need to have an earnest money up front. They will need proof of funds. You will have a shorter amount of time that once your offer is accepted, that you must close it. So I would suggest that if you don't have a reliable funding source or an investor that help you fund those foreclosed deals, that you get that before you start to go out there and make offers on foreclosed properties. I don't know if that helps. That's a loaded question. That's a lot to foreclosed properties.
Mhm.
All right. Everybody on YouTube is saying hello. This one came from Mike Sykes. He said, "How do you feel about an old car dealership? I sent one to you in text."
It's hard for me to say, without knowing the size, location, what else is around it, size of the lot itself. It's hard for me to say. I don't see. I'm going looking at some of them right now. So if I come across it, if you have the information, I'll give you my thoughts on it.
Okay. We got some questions about EMD, but I know you'll get to those when we talk about the topic. This one came from AMR LLC. They said, "What did you lose because title company called everything?" I'm assuming. So they're talking about the deal that Kelly was talking about. Like, did you lose out on anything because they assumed the title company called everything?
Right. No, just time. Just lost time on that one. And the resources, because I mean we have a team that's working this and we have people that are putting these things together. So it's just lost time really. But earnest monies are going to be refunded to the people that paid them. So nobody's lost any money per se, but definitely lost a lot of time. And but the beauty of that is my network grew even more. Every time I do a deal in certain areas, my network grows a little bit more. So network grew, cash buyer list grew. So that's a win.
All right. This one came from Michael Fortun. He said, "What's up, Flip Man? I have a seller asking for 398. I got him to 380. But his estimate says 429. The property is in fairly good condition. Just some updates. I would say no more than $10,000. Do you think it's worth it?" He also said he could lock this deal up later today.
Well, if one of the so he gave the numbers. He said, "Well, with 420, what we say? For what?"
Sellers asking for 398. He talked him down to 380, and his estimate says 429.
Assuming that 429 is correct. See, you may not be aware of it, but I have calculators on digulator.com to help you to figure out this stuff. I don't know what market that's in, but even if we just still did 70% or whatever, even though it may be different now, just off the top, if you do 70% times 429, we're at 300,000. You don't even have to go any further. That's not a deal. As far as a wholesale deal, you don't even have to go any further. We ain't talking about no repairs. We're not talking about your money or whatever. So if the calculator, people do it different ways. If it does nothing else, it prevents you from wasting time on stuff that has no chance of being a deal. You got to use these tools. You know what I'm saying? Probably the number one reason why people never do a deal and go on to do something else, because they don't ever either listen, or sometimes I know math just ain't the thing for everybody, but that's part of why the calculator is there, because I know it ain't everybody's thing or whatever, but you have to know what makes a deal or not. You got to get in that ballpark. Simple math, 429,000 times 70% is 300,300. You're at 389. You're $90,000 from it not being even close to being a deal. You gotta use the stuff that's free to help you make this money. I don't want to sound like I'm fussing, but like you gotta do that. And like again, you may not be aware of that, so I'm assuming that. So a good set of videos you can watch. One of them is if you text the letters GD for good deal or great deal, actually. Text that to the 205-964-5243. That video is going to break down in more detail on what I'm just saying, right? And then the next video after that, you would probably need to access this ARV. Here it is right here. So, but you just got to know that in order to be able to do this, you have to be able to recognize an opportunity. I know you get excited. Someone wants to sell a property. No matter what they say, if you get them anything down from what they're asking, oh, it got to be a great deal. No. Just think about it. If you had the $380,000, what did we say? 389. What did you say you got it down to? 380. Yeah, 380 from 398. Okay, that's $18,000. But even if, well, I guess you might do that, but that ain't how it works though. I guess you could spend 380 if you knew you were going to get 398 back. It is $18,000, but it don't work that way. Too many hands got to go in that. That'll get ate up in just closing costs and paying a real estate agent, right? Even if you had that, it just people, if they're going to spend $380,000, most investors are trying to make $100,000. Definitely 75, but probably closer to 100. So, it's just the numbers don't work. It's not even close to being a deal. So That is so important. Like out of everything, you have to be able to recognize the opportunity. You know, just because they want to sell, there's tons of people want to sell, but in most cases, they want to sell for more than what makes sense as far as a wholesale deal. There are other ways to make money in real estate, but that's why we're here to talk about just that particular niche of it, that niche of investing, I guess you would say. But you got to be able to get that part, if nothing else.
Okay.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Ben said, hopefully one day I'll get over my anxiety and start wholesaling.
And what is your anxiety, man? I get it. Because everything ain't for everybody. No one wants to fail. We all want it to be perfect. We don't want to make any mistakes. But that's one of the great things about it. You can make a ton of mistakes and still have money wired to your account. Just do it, man. You know, the only way you're going to really learn is I can talk to orange man in the face or whatever. Kelly talks to she's green in the face, you know, but the best experience is going to come from you actually doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the best teacher is from you actually trying to do it. So, am I saying anything worth in the bag?
No, the only thing I was gonna add to that is, you know, you don't have to start doing everything all at once. You know, when Ty say just start, like what comes easy to you, you know, that involves a part of the process in wholesaling. You're here on the channel, so you've heard, you know, the steps that it takes. Like what part of that process comes the easiest to you? Do that really well. Become a subject matter expert in that, because that may be someone else's weak spot, and then you guys can team up and you can do the things that you're strongest at, and the other person can take care of all the other things that may bring you anxiety. So you're on this channel. I know you guys are talking to each other in the chat. Like, put out there right now, like, what are you strong at? And then someone else will contact you, and they may need that. Because they may be their weak point.
All right, this is on Instagram. This is kind of interesting. This person said, how much would you subtract from an offer from a property that has termite issues?
I don't know. Okay, so they're asking if the house has termites, how much should that affect the deal? Because it's just a repair cost, right? So whatever you're going to already have repairs, obviously, it sounds like for this house. So that's just an additional expense to bring in an exterminator or whatever. I don't know the extent of it. It's not going to probably be that much or whatever. It just depends. So it's just another repair cost. She's still just going to run the numbers as you normally would. So
call and just call a termite exterminator in the local area. Tell them, you know, give them a little bit of description of the house, ask them for a desktop quote, and just use that, and then, you know, have that as a base point.
All right, this person asks on Instagram, I'm having trouble downloading a contract. Can you give me the latest information pertaining to that, please? Thank you.
Okay, so they're trying to access the one-page contract that I mentioned earlier when we started. Okay, so I have a ton of videos out there on the contracts. You know, on the I have a ton of videos out there on contracts, and so the more recent information to get it would be to text the word contract to the number 205-964-5243. it doesn't allow you to just download a blank contract if that's what you're asking. Now, nothing prevents you from creating your own, but I made it available that way is to in hopes that you would understand that you can still do a handwritten contract filling in the blanks. That works or whatever. But ideally, what I wanted you to have an opportunity to do is to present a professional looking contract that's filled out. It's all printed. You just filling in the blanks. Now, once you do that, you still can download it and print it out if you want. It just needs to be filled out first. Okay. Now, and then you could do that. And but it's now you downloaded it to whatever device. Now it's set up to if you wanted to do an electronic signature, which I strongly recommend. I know it's not going to always be the case because some sellers won't do it, but most of them will or whatever. So, but just to download a blank copy, that really doesn't exist anymore because you can fill it out on the site for free and have it ready to go. You say, well, what if I don't know the price on it or whatever? Well, you just put in there one or whatever, and you can omit that and write that amount in when you go out there to them, but you can fill out the rest of it or whatever. So anyway, that's the option. I ain't the only game in town, but if you want this contract, follow the instructions in the video. All I gotta say about that.
We have Nisi in the chat, so I'm gonna add her.
Nisi.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Flip.
What's happening?
I spoke to the guy yesterday, and what he wants to do about the property I was telling you about yesterday in Griffin. So he wants to sell 0.9 acres for $14.5.
Okay.
Okay. Refresh my memory on the deal. I don't remember the situation.
It was actually okay, it was he had 5 lots and they had like 5 partial numbers on it. 5 different partial numbers. It was like from 209, 211, 213, 215, 217. It was like they had the actual addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so so he's saying he want to sell 0.9 acres for $14.5. So I guess what he's doing, he's selling like selling them differently, separately, I guess.
And where were these located?
In Griffin. I give you guys the address again. It's
Are houses around it?
yeah. It's 209 Elizabeth Street in Griffin.
Yeah, and okay. Let me see. Elizabeth Street, you said? Okay,
Yeah. Let me make sure. Yeah, in Griffin. So he has those 5 lots there.
Okay. Yeah, I see them here. Okay, he wants to sell them all for that amount, or sell them for that amount each.
I think for like each. So he's basically saying 14.5 for 0.9 acres.
All right, so I'm just gonna look at one of these houses right here. Okay, so the houses appear to be selling maybe in like maybe the 130s up to maybe 200. Let me just look on there. I don't need to do it that way. Let me look exactly by that house. All right. So number 1 and 2. So only in the area where those lots are, the houses are basically selling for around 125 to 135. Right. So he wants 14 and some change for each one of them.
Yeah, 14.5.
Yeah. I would say they probably need to be a little cheaper. What do you think, Kelly?
I was trying to look and see. I don't see a lot of. See, I would have to kind of go into my full analysis mode, but so what? So when you're evaluating land, let me just go this route. When you're evaluating land, you first want to go and look and see what land has sold close to that area. And you want to try to, it's good to try to get the similar size to the lots. So it looks like it's just under the acre of land. So you'll want to look at what sold within the last year in that area. And for land, you can go out a mile radius. If you're
Okay.
looking on Zillow, you want to go back a year, see what sold as far as land, and then that will be your ARV. And if you have to do it by the price by the lot square foot, you can just do a simple math equation to get what the price would be, just the same as you would get for price per square foot for a house. You would get the price
Yeah.
per lot square foot for the land, and then you'll times that by that, and that's your ARV. And then you would do a 0.25 valuation. Or you can see what new construction houses are sold for in that area, um,
Okay.
and then do a equation that basically um, takes that ARV, times it by 0.13, times it by 0.25. But it's tough, kind of like without me. I'm trying to pull it up on my phone to know if that's the number or not. I just don't know right now, just because I don't have everything in front of me to look at it. Um, but let's see, can I see anything? Okay, so I see that a lot was sold for 362. Um, let's see here, 4 acre, and then it kind of jumps because a 4 acre lot was sold for 40K, and it jumps again where an acre lot was sold for 13,000. Um, so yeah, so just in general, without me doing anything, I don't know exactly how far those lots are in relation to your subject property lot, but um, really get an understanding. Ty, do you have a video that shows the land, how to evaluate land?
Um, I think we've talked about have one like a daily live, and it's at the end or whatever. But um, just a quick way that I would probably just say, number one, you could just reach out to some brokers in that area and see what they're willing to pay. I mean, what they think the value is retail for those lots. It may be more value that they're all combined there, since they're all just back all together there. But well, I take that back. Normally, it's more value when they actually are divided. I'm sorry. Um, that's one thing. But just taking it from a building perspective, the house is only selling for 135. So, and these houses are what 1,400, between 12 to 1,400 square feet. So what's the math on that? So it got to make sense. To build on what, $150 a square foot. So what you're looking at, 180 grand to build, something like that minimum. I know you just can't always do it like that because people will just buy land or whatever. But I think it's overpriced. If it were me, I would try to look for them around maybe 5,000 a lot versus, the 15,000 he's trying to get per lot or whatever. But again, probably the simplest
Mhm.
thing to do is to see who's doing a lot of transactions in that area as far as a land broker, or agent, or whatever. Just get a
Okay.
couple of opinions and just go from there.
Okay. Yeah, because I did see your how to do the ARV video, but it was with those two guys, and you were showing us how to use the tool that they had.
Mhm.
That's the video I seen.
Oh,
I
my
don't
guy,
know.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, get some practice in with that, and then that'll help you evaluate it. I would say just looking. Like I said, I wasn't able to really look at it like I would normally do, but I would just say based on the housing prices in that area, you will need to get it pretty cheap.
Okay.
Just yeah, you need to get it pretty cheap, especially if it's not cleared off, it's not flat. I would have to know those things as well.
Okay. All right. Good to know. I just had to touch back bases when I talked to him again yesterday, and he told me that he was selling each space for 14.5. So I wanted to see, do I want to be bothered with it or what?
Okay.
So
No problem.
so thank you. And Callie, I'm still working on that thing here. I might have to do it tomorrow. It's like a 24-hour process. But as soon as I get it, I'll get it over to you, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, thank you. See
Yeah,
y'all
you're
later.
welcome.
Thanks, guys.
No
Bye.
problem. Please join us again.
All right, this is on TikTok. This person said, I see for sales, but for sale signs, but I'm not sure where to start. I don't have a realtor license.
You don't need a realtor's license if you see things. Now, here's the thing: people employ real estate agents because they want to get the most out of their property that they can. They're utilizing them for their marketing, their network, and their marketing. Okay, so just know that if you are driving and looking for real estate agents for sale signs, that there may not be a deal in that particular property, just because they're not even going to entertain low offers, which you have to give a deal offer in order to wholesale the property or sign the contract. And then you also have to basically be able to sign the contract or do a double closing. So you have to have enough spread in there where you have to have enough money to pay out people. So I just want to bring that back up. If you're looking for real estate agents that have for sale signs, I would look for the properties that look distressed in the areas where the real estate agent had the for sale signs in front of the property. Is what I would look for.
All right. Let me go back up on YouTube. Okay, this one says, how do I find reputable end buyers?
All built on relationships. Going out to your local real estate investors meetups, building relationships. Once you get really savvy, going through public records, see who's actually buying property and lots of it. And the best way I've found is to work through real estate agents and brokers to find buyers, just because they usually have multiple people that are buying property. So if you saw you have PropStream and you looked up flippers, those are real estate agents that typically are representing investors that are buying property. So build a relationship with the real estate agent or the broker that is representing those buyers. But for the most part, doing some reverse engineering and seeing who's actually buying properties and who's going to your local meetups and, say they can close in 10 to 15 days and, go ride in the neighborhoods, see where the trucks are that are flipping properties and go out and talk to the crews. Hey, who's paying you guys? Who's the boss man or boss woman of this project, and get in contact with the people that way.
All right. This one says, I went for my real estate license and missed it by a few points due to life challenges at the time. I refuse to sit through that again. I've been researching tax liens and I saw Footman's ads come up and I'm ready.
I wish you would have told me before. I could have helped you. I always that's like my little claim to fame a little bit. I passed the real estate exam with an A my very first time, and with an 86 for my broker's test the very first time. So I know how to take that test, girl. You should have told me. But tax liens, I mean, but wholesaling makes money too, so that's fine. It's fine. It's all good. I'm gonna take time to talk about the tax lien stuff.
Yeah, it's a blessing. You don't need it. It can't hurt, but you don't need it. Yeah. So on the tax liens, so whatever state you're going to target or states, you just need to learn the process. So how can you obtain that information? The first thing I would do is YouTube search tax lien investing or tax deed investing and whatever the name of the state is, and see if any videos come up that are specifically discussing that state and where the opportunities are, opportunities and or exit strategies are based on that state and its process. All right. If you don't come up with anything, which I would be surprised, then the next thing you would want to do, you probably want to do this regardless, but you want to reach out to the county and or state level to get one of those people that your taxes are paying their salaries to get them to explain the process. Now that sounds easy, and hopefully you'll get someone on the phone that they're have their customer service hat on and not mad because you called them 15 minutes before their lunch. And if that doesn't work, you can't get anything done by phone, then it'll be best to go and show face to face. The other thing you can do is target Facebook groups related to whatever state you're targeting and tax deed or tax lien investing for those states and join those groups. Normally, you're going to be able to find some really good contacts, network with some really good individuals. Hopefully, you can network with an attorney that specializes in that arena for that particular state, and that's going to go a long way or whatever. So those are the steps that I would use to educate yourself based on the state that you're going to try to do business in. I didn't know I had, when I was at this dealership earlier today, I stole all these peppermints. I had, boy. Oh, you want one? Oh, you the one to have at church, ain't it? Come here, baby. Just if you'll be quiet, I give you one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Take it out. All right. This one says, let's see. Would you suggest letting a VA run your business from start to close? I have the mind frame of working on my company, not in my company. I'm currently working the surplus fund niche and ready to expand.
That sounds good on the surface, but remember the two words, your business.
Right.
We would all love that, man. You ain't being realistic. Obviously, you can put individuals in place to duplicate your efforts or do things that you're not strong at, but you're going to have a process first to be able to teach someone the process. So you may be able to get it to that level where it's basically running itself to a certain extent. But again, the process has to be created first. And who's going to do that? You.
Yeah, I mean, I love the mindset. It makes sense. I will say that these VAs are gotten very sophisticated or savvy. I've heard multiple stories about VAs that are working within multiple businesses, taking multiple leads. So you definitely want to have someone in your company that you can trust. But if you don't want to be the CEO of your company, then you would need to hire a CEO of the company if you can afford that. And that CEO would then manage the support team, and they will hire the VAs and they will hire that, and you basically make sure that your investments are covered. And so if you have the resources to be able to hire someone that can run it, and I would suggest hiring that person in the US because, like I said, I've heard just this year countless people that have tried to, have litigation or litigate VAs, especially if you're going in the Philippines, and they had to create relationships in the Philippines with lawyers just so that they can prosecute VAs for stealing information, define company policies, all of that. No NDAs are being taken as a joke, and sometimes. So if you do that, you want to make sure that you do the entire thing right. Hire your CEO, then that CEO hires the people that will support it, and you basically are in contact with the person that is running your business on your behalf, and you're paying them a salary to do so.
All right, we got someone in the chat. So I'm about to add them. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
All right. How you doing, Flip?
Got it, man. What's happening?
All right. I got a issue. I'm trying to figure out the comps with it's two properties next to each other. One kind of like a commercial property, and the other one is like it's a regular property. It's the address. Can you do the comps? Like help me with the comps a little bit?
See.
All right.
All right, what's the address?
107 Blue Bonnet, San Antonio, Texas.
Why they tripping? Blue Bonnet.
Yeah, Blue Bonnet.
Boulevard. Okay, there we go. Spanish, English, Russian, French. Hey, just start talking and I'll start communicating back with you.
Okay.
For that. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. So we show it recently sold for 530 something. And wasn't on the market that long, if this is correct. And so this is the house that you're referring to?
Not the no, the zip code is wrong.
Huh?
The
You
zip
said
code
107 Blue Bonnet Boulevard, San Antonio. Right?
the zip code is the address is right, but the zip code is wrong.
Well, let's do this. Let's go to Zillow. Yeah, this got to be the zip code, right? That's the house.
Not it. No,
That's not the house.
That's not it.
So you said 107 Blue Bonnet?
It's 107 Blue Bonnet Street. Then the zip code is 78202.
Oh, you said street.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Dealing with her. Well, yeah. Top of my mind, to be like, going back and forth, All right, so it's a multi-family dwelling. All right, so okay, so here we go. All right, so let's look at this here. So let me see if we have similar properties. Here, so let me copy that. Go down here to property type, search for a multi-family dwelling. Boom. So we only got one other comp within a half a mile. Okay, so just using this property, ours is just to show them really quick, blow this up. Now this is not a house, so crossing lines and all that stuff really is not as big of a deal because we won't have a lot to work with here, it appears. So, but ideally, the thicker white lines, thicker yellow lines, if you can stay within those, please do, because things can change crossing those streets. Not all the time, but sometimes. And so, ideally on a house, we like to stay in a certain range of on three different things here. Year built, like to stay within a 10-year span, if possible. Not always the case, nearest and best. Lot square footage within 2,500 square feet, if possible. Then the square footage of the property itself within a couple of 100 square feet or 20%, just depends. All right, so let me see here. Let me do this. I'm gonna go out a little bit, see if it pulls up another. Okay, it pulls up more. Okay, so now these appear to be the same type property. Now yours was built in 1919. Everything else is newer. So we're gonna have to roll with that. All right. So we have one here that sold in July for 118. It's a little bigger. Lot size, square footage is newer, a little just a little newer. It's a 1931. But we
Okay.
do have one in April that sold for 184. But it's a 1955 build. The lot is more than double and it's bigger. All right, so let's look at the one that sold in July. Let's just see the condition of that one and how it got down. Let's see. Okay, so did it sell on Zillow? Okay. Hmm. Okay, so they didn't have a lot of photos, so that is livable, but yeah, just that. Some people won't nail that, but you know, better than the ground. Let's look at this other one that sold for 184. Let me see. See what what they did on that. Where is it? Okay. Do this. Boom. Boom. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say the other one is in a little better condition, but it's sold for 184 though. Somebody there in the picture, ain't it? Okay. Hello. Um, oof. All right. So this is interesting. All right, let me see what else we got. The other one is just rental comps. The other two that we have here. Um, what price are they talking? Let's start there.
He wouldn't give me a price. He just wanted to see what I would offer him, and I said, "Let me do the comps." And like I seen, I didn't have really much to work with, so I was like, "Let me try to get a little bit more help."
Okay. All right. Now here's another one that was public record. I didn't sell through MLS, but it was a lot. Well, let's see what this one did here, just out of curiosity. I want to trying to see if we see one that's renovated. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so it doesn't give me any photos on this outside of this here, but it looks good. But just can't go by it. So that's a duplex. Um, hmm, interesting. All right. I don't know. What do you think, Kelly? I'm struggling to so were these cash sales right here, you think? Like this one right here, the 118, it would have had to have been just with the condition of the one that sold in July.
Can you click on it for me? Click on details.
Yeah. There's a draw look at.
Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, I was about to say mortgage and transaction.
Yeah, it was a cash sale. So
Yeah.
okay. Oh, market trend. Okay, yeah. Um, Texas. So the MLS detail show, 119 or so. And so if
Mhm.
it was a cash sale, then so they paid cash for it, that amount. So sort of hard to use that as a comp, but there's not a lot of activity on the same type property or whatever is obviously not the normal property of multifamily dwelling. I don't know what you think.
So when that happens, when PropStream is really not giving me the data that I need, I rely on the people that spend a lot of money to try to figure out how to algorithm. I go to the top 3 sites and I just put in all of what they have, and then I divide it by 3 because it's sometimes it's really tough to figure out what the comps are in certain areas. So I would go to Redfin, Zillow, and Realtor.com, and they typically already have all of those numbers there. Now, yeah, sometimes I don't always suggest that as the number one thing. I like PropStream because you can really dial into the data, but at
Yeah.
least with Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com, they're gonna when they all are kind of close, and then when you divide it by 3, like everybody's gonna kind of get the same.
Yeah, because he basically owned 2 properties. Like he wanted to sell the commercial. It's kind of commercial. It's like it's built like a house, but it's a commercial. It could be like a barbershop, like whatever. It could be. It can be anything really, but it's right next to that house. So he was trying to sell that for 150. I said, no, I can't do that. It need like a lot of work inside. So.
And I see that even Redfin and Realtor.com can't even get a comp because it's tough given what the type of property it is. And then the other way you can do it, Ty, is just to do it by the cost by square footage and what's been sold, and just like take whatever the most renovated property is and what it sold, the cost per square footage, and times it by that. Is what I would go next.
Saying, if we're gonna use multifamily dwelling as the type of zoning, this is it.
This is it. Yeah. So what is that? 220 North Mesquite Street.
Yeah, see that property wasn't renovated. When we pull it up, it wasn't renovated either. Well, I'm sorry. It did look renovated. My bad. It did look. The outside does, but it doesn't have any inside photos on Zillow. I mean, interior photos, but it looks good from the outside or whatever. So it was a public record sale, though. It wasn't an MLS sale. So.
And so that one, it was.
Let's see here. Maybe it had a loan on it. Let's look at that.
Okay.
Well, let me see. Hold on. Yeah, it's sold again. All right. So now they bought it off MLS for back in March of 2021, and then they sold it without it being on MLS for $397 or so. But just to look at it, let's see if there was a loan on it. So it was financed FHA, so that's a good sign for $392. Really, so so now I guess we can take the price per square foot, which was $319, right? And if we multiply that times hours, which is 1,050, 319 times 1,050. We're looking at 330, basically 335,000 as an ARV. So,
It don't look like it.
No, I ain't saying that's what it's worth now. That's what it would be worth.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you look at that, when you go back and look at the comparable that we use, like I can tell where that probably didn't look like it, but they did a pretty okay job. I wouldn't have thought it was an almost $400,000 house, but I guess the area where it's in, it must be is this like close to downtown or close to like a city center?
Yes, it's very close to downtown. It's like on the east side of town. It's kind of like the hood side, so it's a lot of living in that area. So it definitely be a deal.
Let's see what house.
And then it's a corner lot.
No, not that one. It's the next. I was just looking to see. Oh, that was a commercial property there. I'm trying to see if one of these houses what they're selling for also. All right. Okay, that was in 2018. All right. Yeah, like the houses are selling in the 4s, so it's just I think it's justified.
What number are you at right now with the seller?
Well, he told they don't want no more than like he was just saying like he wanted like 100,000 or something like that. But I told him I couldn't give him that. I told him I was going to work on the numbers and get back to him. And I supposed to call him back at 5:30.
How did you find this?
I had code violation.
Okay, yeah, I think 100,000 might be a good number. It's only 1,050 square feet. So the renovation, even if it was extensive, that's not a lot of square footage. So if you can get him less, if you can get it less than that, obviously you want to work on it. But I think it would be justified based on what we're looking at here. So
it's a commercial property on the side of it too. That's what's considered a commercial property. He's trying to sell that as well because
it must be this one.
It's the 714 North New Braunfels.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it really didn't have no comps for that one either. I don't know how to. I didn't know how to like pretty much do a comps.
Is this right here?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, try to get it for 85 and get it under contract so that you can turn around and sell it for 100. So, because I'm pretty sure if you say 100, he might have a little wiggle room if it has a code violation on it. Do you know what the code violation is?
I think it was like high grass or something like that, or trash.
Oh, yeah, I love weeds and yeah. Weeds and grass. Yeah.
Shot right there.
This is good. So just a little tidbit. Whenever you see the city pouring into the area, that's where you want to be. Always be where your customers have to be. So if the city is spending tax dollars in this area, so if you see new street lights go up, if you see road improvements or widening of roads, like if they're spending tax dollars in that area, it's for a reason. Right. Okay. So you definitely want to start farming that area and start really because then when you farm it, you already know what you would need to get on every house. You wouldn't have to think about it because you know what all your buyers are looking to buy for.
Okay. Yeah, that's good information. I appreciate the help because I definitely needed it. So.
All right, no problem, man.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Yeah, let us know.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
All right, boom. All right, so today's topic, TOP, I see. How much earnest money should a cash buyer give you? All right, first of all, they're not going to put it in your hands in most cases. I've had that to happen, but that shouldn't be your expectation. So what we really mean is how much will be put up at a title company or closing attorney. All right, so I personally, I generally on just normal price houses for the markets deal in, 1,000 will suffice. If you can get more, 2,500, so that's normally good. You start talking, I don't know, 500,000 and up, you may want to get 5,000 or whatever, but normally 1,000 to 2,500 normally will work or whatever. So some people use the 1% rule, but I don't trip about that at all. So, but normally a minimum of 1,000. Can you come on with 1,000 now? But I try to push for 2,500. So, your thoughts?
Yeah. 1% rule. Like if you're dealing with a real estate agent, they're normally gonna put gonna say 1 to 1.5%, depending on the area. Now I do know that when they know they're dealing with investors, I'm starting to see a trend now where they're asking for more earnest money up front because investors have a high rate of canceling contracts. Because honestly, in the real estate agent world, that's not a very common thing to have your contract canceled. And so I've known one builder that sells to investors, but they require 20% earnest money up front. And that's to weed out anybody that's it's to create, a serious buyer, essentially. So just to kind of keep that in mind, that's not common, but it's possible. But yeah, usually the 1% rule. A lot of times, earnest money is with a real estate agent is is part of the offer. So they will look at that. The higher you go, the more serious they consider you. So you can say $100, but they're not going to really take your offer seriously. So that's why I always usually advise anywhere between $500 to $1,000, but I would usually say a 1% for when I'm working with another real estate agent, so that they can take our offer seriously.
All righty. Well, we've been rolling here pretty hard, guys. You put Kelly information up.
Yep. So tonight is the night, guys. I'm gonna do a free workshop. I'm gonna be doing wholesaling, but specifically talking about how to wholesale with real estate agents. So starting from the very, very beginning of like even if most people, especially if you're a real estate agent, or you should know if you're on this channel what wholesaling is, but just starting from the very beginning. So if you have any realtor friends, or people that's considering getting their license, or if you're thinking about it, or if you just want to, learn a little bit more about wholesaling, go to my link on my bio and go ahead and register. Like I said, it's free. So it starts at 6:00 tonight Central Time. So I'll be jumping off and jumping on there.
All righty. And before we go, remember this. Subscribe to the channel by selecting this button here. Once you subscribe to the channel, tap the little bell, select all, so you now are alerted whenever we upload new videos like this one and when we go live daily. And we're out.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 215-964-5243. Yep.